Hi Bill, thanks for making the journey to see us. Great to meet up with you and do some actual work on your game. Hopefully had a safe journey back and you can enjoy your Christmas with the family. Just a quick recap on the key points that we discussed. I will email you the picture of the whiteboard from your session, which is sort of your blueprint for your progression for the foreseeable future, along with the images that we took. But from a video recap point of view, just going to go over the key points that we discussed first and the reasons for them. So the big issue was too much movement off the ball. We're extending and turning, but not left tilting enough. So as the left shoulder works across too much from P1 to P2, when you're looking at it from face on, that's moving you off the ball very early. So the centre of the shoulder turn has moved off the ball by P2. Now as you start to extend, you start to see the head moving further out because there's not enough left tilt and it starts to raise. So you could left tilt and extend a little bit more, but the main issue was the side bend in the left shoulder. Left shoulder works across too much and not down enough. One of the reasons for that is because the lead knee doesn't flex enough. And we talked about, as you'll see in your progression, more of a gap between the knees should be visible. The hips are too level. These are all things that are subsequent effects, really, more than anything. The shoulder turn is not at 90 degrees to your inclination to the ground, which is the yellow line that I put on, illustrating your forward bend. So there's definitely an extension in there. Could you extend a little bit more? You touched on that towards the end of the session about the face-on view. I would say maybe you could, but there is extension in there, so I'm not really concerned about that. You can see the head clearly coming up out of the box. And the reason we don't sort of stay in that box is because as we're standing up, we have to offset it by the left tilt. The left tilt is certainly from P2.5 onwards, viewed from down the line, and it's what allows the player to maintain his inclination to the ground. So a little bit more extension is a byproduct of what we're about to do, I'm about to look at, but the main concern is tidying up that left tilt, getting the left shoulder to work down more and sooner so that we can stabilise the swing early, keep the head in the box and learn to swing around a more stable upper axis. The other issue we had was coming into the golf ball, and this is viewable from face on more than anything. And we talked about from face on how the right shoulder hung back a little bit, byproduct of the backswing. More than anything, the club passed the hands too quickly, so it impacted the handles back and the club is overtaking the hands too fast. So we spent a little bit of time discussing this, gave you some drills. If we take a little look at the improvements from down the line first of all, what we've done is we've put the cane to the side of the head. The cane to the side of the head means that you now have to swap these swings around. You now have to work the left shoulder down sooner. Remember when we isolated the three key movements about the turning, the extending, the left tilting, and said that you could reverse engineer this. In order for you to swing and swing around a fixed point, you have to turn, extend and left tilt. So therefore, if you are forced to turn, extend and left tilt sufficiently, then your head should stay still as well. So we're keeping your head still so that you learn to turn, left tilt and extend at the correct rates. So first swing of the day, or first swing that we videoed after you loosened up, definitely a loss of inclination to the ground. Shoulder tilts too level, hip tilts too level, no real gap between the knees, and your inclination to the ground has been lost. This was your swing towards the end of your session. Just put that one off. Put the box around your head. All you're doing at this stage is it's an appreciation of the effect that the left shoulder has. And then you're trying to swing without moving the cane. You can see as you do that, in order for you to swing without touching the cane, you very quickly learn that the left shoulder's got to work down for longer. And for the left shoulder to work down for longer, the knees have got to change flexed more and sooner. So as you get to the top of your backswing, shoulder tilts are massively improved. Tilt in the hips is improved as well. And the gap between the knees is obviously substantially bigger. So the difference between the two swings is the amount of side bend that we've got when viewed from down the line, the amount of left tilt. Remember, because you've turned through 90 degrees, left tilt now is down towards the ball. So you've increased the amount of left tilt by learning to swing, keeping the head still, encouraging the lead shoulder to work down more and for longer, and encouraging the knees to change flex more. Your prompts throughout the session relating to this were to picture yourself on a downhill line, so you put a little bit more weight forward. Just going to get the swing up from face on. A little bit more weight forward, and then keep the weight forward throughout the swing. So once you've got more weight forward, previously when we looked at it from face on, lead shoulder would work very level. So you can see there you start getting pushed off the ball very quick, very early. So at that point there's not enough change in flex in the knees, and the lead shoulder is working across more than down. So we want it to work down and across at a steady rate rather than across more than down. So lead shoulder working too level at that point rather than down and across at a steady rate. Here we've got the cane to the side of the head, a couple of inches away, just to give you a little bit of movement. And we're just asking you to swing back without hitting the cane on the way back. You can see there now the lead shoulder works more down and across rather than level. Your ability to turn around a stable axis has improved. You can see now that forward bend we talked about previously, there's a lot of that forward bend maintained here that you had at address, whereas now that forward bend has started to diminish a little, and that will continue to diminish throughout the time and space of the backswing. So that's the extension piece, but the extension has to be offset by the left tilt. So you see that here on the left we've come up and out of the box to the right, a sign that we're not quite extending enough, but we're also not left tilting enough. On the right we're much more inside the box, showing that we're turning, extending and left tilting at a nice steady rate. The left arm starts to stay a little bit straighter, which is something that you touched on. You can start to see the change in knee flex as the trail leg straightens and the lead leg flexes. The hips now turning on a more tilted angle rather than a very level angle. And if we do a line straight up from the lead hip, you start to see that there is a little bit more extension already creeping in. So left tilting and extending, left tilting and extending. As you start to calm the turn down, which is what's happening on the left, there's an eagerness to turn the shoulder behind the ball, probably because of what you've been told in the past. That turning on a level plane sort of offsets any side bend and extension that you might have. So suddenly when we concentrate on just maintaining that stability, we start to turn, which is essential, but we start to do it more on a tilted angle. So therefore our ability to extend isn't compromised quite as much, and our ability to work the lead shoulder down is encouraged. So much more stable coming into the hit. What we've got to do now is flatten out that lead wrist, and if we look at the drill that we did to encourage that, we got you on the mat with a ball about a grip's length behind the ball that you were going to hit. So set up as normal. We've got a golf ball about a foot behind your object ball here that you're then going to set up to. and then you're going to try and swing and hit the lead ball. So what that encourages you to maintain the angles in the wrist for longer, speed up the delivery of the arms a little bit, prevent the club overtaking the hands quite as fast. On the left, the arms get a little bit too lazy, the wrist angles come out a little bit too soon, the angle of attack becomes a little bit too shallow, and the radius of the swing expands. So at impact, if we had to summarise the difference between the two, on the right we've got the handle forward, on the left we've got the handle back. We're also starting to see a knock-on effect of the changes that we've made during the backswing. Shoulders aren't as tilted, not quite as much side bend. So therefore it's going to be a little bit easier for you to control your club face and your low point. Weight's still pushed forward on both swings, but the big change there is the handle location at impact and controlling the rate at which the club head passes the hands. Head's not dropping back as much on the right. So everything's more stable. And we've got the handle further forward at impact. So that's the summary of your lesson, Bill. It was great to work with you. Thanks for making the trip down. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. I wish you well in the coming season. Have a great Christmas and look forward to hooking up in 2017. Well done.